Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a magnificent Monday so far. Today we're going to be diving into Cardano, and we've got quite an interesting video lined up for you. We're going to be looking at things objectively, because I'm noticing, and I always notice whenever the market action is certainly negative, that there's a lot of emotions get involved. Of course, it's the same when the price is sort of skyrocketing. People get very emotional. Similarly, that's kind of repeated to the downside, but in regards to negative emotions. And you guys really want to try and be as neutral as possible. If you believe in the cryptocurrency space like I do, you know, I think crypto is here to stay and it's got a hell of a long way to go. I don't think it's going anywhere, and I only think it's going to get bigger. But right now, we're going through a downward trending period, which is absolutely a-okay, guys. And we're going to be looking at things objectively and really sort of drilling that home. We're going to be diving into ADA. We'll start on the monthly time frame and probably work our way down to the 4-hourly. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin and what is, and I'm going to keep reiterating this until people understand it, because people go, well, if there's so many amazing things taking place in the crypto space, why is the price selling off? Look no further than the chart I have in front of you. We've been talking about macro markets for nearly 6 months now, every single day, or near enough every single day, I should say, on my daily cryptocurrency market updates. And the reason we've been doing that is because crypto has now somewhat attached itself to macro markets. It's got to that size of an industry, whereas previously we were just moved on the 4-year cycle theory, largely speculation and retail driven. Now we have institutional players involved, and that's why we're seeing a huge correlation. And you can see here we have Bitcoin orange, and then of course we have the S&P 500 in red, and then we have the Nasdaq in baby blue. You can see just how apparent the correlation is, and in actual fact Bitcoin is somewhat front running the market given its higher beta status. So we are really going to spend this video looking at things objectively. We're going to look at the overall market as well. It's going to be a Cardano specific video talking about some of the things taking place. Congratulations to SingularityNet, who essentially have launched their ERC20 converter. And right now you can actually go, if you hold AGIX, you can convert it from Ethereum to Cardano. You need, of course, your Ethereum wallet, which I'm assuming for most of you will be your MetaMask. And then you can actually transfer it into a Cardano wallet. And this is, you know, the start of a trend that we're really seeing. You know, we know that Wing Riders essentially were the first people to implement stable coins on a DEX on the Cardano network. And they were actually not just stable coins, they were Ethereum stable coins, USDC and Tether. They did this, of course, via the Milkomeda bridge, which is very impressive. You know, there is a lot of amazing things taking place, and it's always really important that I remind people of that going forward. We have seen a bit of a decline in our DeFi space in terms of total value locked, but every DeFi space has seen that. Bitcoin is still that tide that rises and sinks all ships, and Bitcoin in regards to macro markets is but a paper boat on an ocean. That makes me extremely bullish because it's got a long, long way to go. I think we're going to see a merge, and if you guys didn't watch my chat with the market sniper Francis Hunt yesterday that I put out, go and give that a watch, because we're talking about the failing of the current monetary system and the fact that blockchain potentially may be what backs the new one. Very interesting conversation. We're talking about debt markets and a number of other things that are very alien to many people in the crypto space, but absolutely matter. You know, this is a space that's only just getting going, guys. And there are, just like there's periods of euphoria, periods of disheartenment is probably the best way to put it. But you've got to be neutral and you've got to look at things objectively, which is what we're going to start doing now. So we've covered quite a lot, but we'll really just look at the ADA chart to kick things off. We've already kicked things off and gone into a number of things. So this is, of course, the monthly chart. I want to remind people since March 2020, Cardano actually went up 16,700%. Yeah. If you were lucky enough to be in these markets like I was, you guys know that I've been in the market since 2017. And ultimately, I've rode it out the whole way through because I've always had this ideology, I guess, that is subject to change when new information comes. You should never stick to, you should never be stubborn. If new information presented itself that led me to believe that crypto was just a fad, I would have moved on a long time ago. I haven't seen that information today. In fact, all I've seen is confirming biases and confirming factors that make me really believe that this is, or make me really think, I should say, that this is you know, an industry that's here to stay and is very early on that journey. So Cardano is up 16,700%. We essentially had 2 years of continuous upward movement. You know, Bitcoin's the same, the entire crypto market, and in actual fact, your equity market, you can see over here, this is March 2020, saw appreciation basically as a result of the Federal Reserve and other central banks around the world that essentially came out and said they flooded the system with money because we had a black swan event that they had to deal with and they didn't want everything to crash. They were essentially paying your wages for 2 years, which is insanity to think about that, and a situation that going into it, if somebody had told you that was going to happen, wouldn't have made, you'd have been looking at them like they were crazy. We are now at the other end of that, whereas that monetary policy was extremely accommodating to a flourishing market, it is now not so accommodating, and we're actually seeing monetary tightening and a very hawkish Fed that in no uncertain terms said that they were willing to crash. We covered it with David Bell, we covered it with Francis, we've covered it on the channel quite a bit now. In no uncertain terms, they're willing to crash markets in order to fight off inflation. Now, I don't think they're going to do a very good job in fighting off inflation, but what they are going to do is cause a bit of pain to markets and actually try and kill off a little bit of that wealth effect that's been created over the past 2 years. That's what we're seeing, and Cardano is a part of that because it's a part of the crypto space, and the crypto space is now very tethered to what's going on a macro. So when you look at things objectively, and we're going to start dropping down the time frames, things don't look too bad at all from a monthly time point of view. I was very fortunate to be buying around about your 6 cents range, and I actually even bought up at the top here, guys. But if you're a medium of these markets, you'll catch the highs and the lows. Ultimately, you know, we had price predictions in 2021. $7.50 we thought we could have seen Cardano get to. We had those price predictions for a long time, well before it was even $1. All the videos are still up there. You can go and check it. We didn't get there. And the reason being is because 2021 did not end in the way that we thought it was going to. Does that mean that I don't think in the future we don't get there? I do. I just don't know how long that takes. And I think we end up at the same destination, but we take a different route. There's so many amazing things, not just taking place on Cardano, but blockchain full stop. It's hard not to, recognize that. And it's often disencouraging that the price doesn't reflect that. But this is markets. And what are markets driven by right now? The macro environment. There will come a time when that changes. So when the Fed, and it's not all about the Federal Reserve in America, they are a huge component right now in why markets are doing what they're doing. But there are a few other elements sort of wrapped in there. When that sort of unwinds and actually becomes not so much the case, this market is going to get well back off to the races, and there's so much opportunity at hand, guys. When we talk about the DeFi space, DeFi isn't even really a thing. And you're going to go, all in crypto, what do you mean? You know, we have Aave and Compound and, you know, MakerDAO and, you know, we've got stable coins and this and that. Who uses DeFi? How many of you guys use DeFi daily? I use DeFi. I use DeFi to farm stable coins. I use DeFi to farm APYs at an exceptionate rate, but nobody really uses DeFi except for people like myself that are becoming more and more crypto native and trying to move away from an old corrupt system into a new one. We're a very small population we're a very small amount of the world's population, virtually non-existent. You need a microscope to see the people that use DeFi. That's going to change. I was listening to some statistics the other day. I think 50% of the world is unbanked. 70% of people have mobiles. So there's 20% of people out there, you know, a mobile inherently, that if it has internet access, enables you to be and get onboarded into the crypto space. You know, there's so much coming for this space, and when people get disheartened because of a pullback in a bigger macro continuation trend, you know, look at this. I'm not going to take it off log. It's up and to the right, and that's going to continue. And of course, you have drawdowns within that. Nothing goes up in a straight line, and we're in one of those drawdown periods, guys. So let's drop down to some smaller time frames. Let's start with the daily, or let's touch on the daily and then go down lower. This is a very clear, and you guys don't need me to tell you this, downtrend. And we've had a few. There's been quite a few times where Cardano has gone, actually, do you know what? We want to make a move to the upside. We've got the Basel hard fork coming. Many great things taking place on chain. However, your overall market conditions just don't dictate it. Whenever we've had these moves, and you guys will begrudgingly know this, it's been killed off by Bitcoin, really, and it deciding it doesn't want to play ball. Similar thing happened here. We did say to you that there was a potential of a reverse head and shoulders. The second we invalidated this, we said you're going lower. Yesterday, we spoke, or not yesterday, the last time Saturday, we did a daily cryptocurrency market update where we flew past Ada and we said, look, potentially you're not only setting up a bear flag for Bitcoin, but a number of the altcoins. That has indeed come to the downside, and you are, of course, getting people stepping in and buying the dip. And until we start invalidating lower lows and lower highs, which you've done throughout this entire trend, it's still a downtrend. And this is very much a trader-driven market. When you look at Bitcoin and you look at the range it's in, how does that range form? Well, that range forms by people essentially intraday trading back and forth and trading the range. It's a trader-driven market because there isn't any kind of FOMO. If you look at retail involvement, it's next to nothing. And your institutions, a lot of the big boys have stepped out, and you saw that with this laddered approach here. And they're sat on the sidelines, by the way. What do you think they're sat on the sidelines for? To keep their money in a failing fiat system? No, they're sat on the sidelines because they are and have already anticipated, given the monetary policy and a number of other things going on, or the new monetary policy regime and a number of other things going on, Russia to be a big one. They've already anticipated turmoil. So they've took their money off the table to get rid of risk, only to redeploy it at a later date. And that's what you've got to start thinking like. Yeah, me personally, I'm happy to hold through this. The only thing that I took off the table was very small stable coins like Multivac, when I could see that things, I think I did that when one of their developers actually left, or one of their co-founders. Very small altcoins, 20% of my portfolio. The rest I have in things like ADA, like Algorand, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, that I'm happy to hold for the long run. These are 5-year investments plus, and I'll just add whenever I can to them. And then I'll keep a portion of my portfolio in stablecoins, which I'll be farming APYs on, which we're going to show you videos on how to do that, ready to deploy in the market. Because this is, again, a tech that ain't going anywhere. And what these markets are very good at doing is taking money from the impatient and giving it to the patient. I do genuinely think, and one thing that I'm looking at, and it's very interesting, we'll put it back on a weekly. In fact, we'll fly past the 4-hourly very quickly. You can see he did break it down from that. You also hit, EMAs aren't the be-all and end-all, but they're a very good sign of sort of relative strength and weakness. And when you start hitting your head on it, you know you're coming down lower. Have we got any levels down here? No. One big level is that $1 mark. And why is that? Well, it's got a long history within the Cardano chart, and we don't want to be below it because it's acted as perfect support. We don't want that sort of scenario where it starts to act as resistance. But ultimately, the overall market has to take that turn in direction for ADA to really appreciate. It's going to be a very interesting time because we know we've got the Basel hard fork, and typically we've seen hard forks on the run-up to every, or typically we've seen run-ups in terms of price on the news of the hard fork, and then, of course, we see a little dump after the hard forks. We're probably, potentially, we may see some sort of appreciation, but it doesn't look massively likely at the moment. One thing that I'm watching is, okay, well, when does Cardano bottom out? One thing that I'd really like to see is something like this, and we start that kind of market cycle. If you look at your market cycles, it's very much like this. You get these kind of boom and busts. This is something I'm watching out for, just like you had over here. Hype dies down, period of consolidation. But I think these cycles are getting smaller. So whereas this would have played ball with a 4-year cycle theory that would have had a halving round about here for Bitcoin, your Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory, which is this essentially. Halvening. I think these cycles are getting more compact, and you have a kind of boom and bust in a smaller manner. I don't think it takes as long. I don't think we're entering a 2-year-long bear market, essentially. And in actual fact, I think for the cryptocurrency space, given all the regulations that are around the corner, we could actually start to come out of this into the second half of the year, if not sooner. This market can change very, very quickly. And we really, at the moment, need to see that decoupling. We'll get rid of all that. We really, at the moment, need to see that decoupling from the equity market, which, of course, is suffering at the hands of monetary policy, as that's kind of what the monetary policy regime that is now being set in place is there to do, to essentially dampen markets. So I hope this video has made some sense. You know, we are still ultimately very, very bullish on the crypto space because we are in a macro bull. Short term, though, we're very tethered to the equity market and everything going on in a macro sense, and that's something that we have to deal with. But there are brighter days ahead, guys, and that's something that's really, really important to remember and to not get disheartened, because you'll get disheartened, you'll get out of the market, and then just when you get out the market, I've had this happen to me time and time again, just like when I've bought in on some altcoins, it crashes the second after. That's exactly what will happen. So that is really all I have for you guys. Lots going on chain. Don't take your eye off that. You know, I am investing quite heavily and will be investing even more aggressively if I see some sort of a capitulation event for Bitcoin, which I'd kind of like to see at this point. I'd like to see some sort of a sharp pull down for Bitcoin. That sounds mad to say, given how bullish I am and how I want, you know, ultimately I want cryptos to go up. But I'd like to see some sort of an event like that then sees the momentum return to the upside, because the momentum just isn't here for the markets currently. You need to kind of bring that attraction in order for people to get aggressively long again. Or we end up in some sort of a short squeeze scenario where people are aggressively short and then the market goes the other way. And most traders I know right now are just range trading, and they're actually doing quite well at it because we are in a very clear range that people are happy to trade. So that is really all I have for you guys. If you have enjoyed this content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment. We'll see what tomorrow brings, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next YouTube video. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Mondays.